Hi there. I hope you all had a good week and that you're all staying well out there. It's been another really big week for all of us. We are in our third week now of this self quarantine that we have been asked to undertake, and it's definitely testing all of us in ways that we're not accustomed to. It's also important for us to remember at this time that we are going through a process of mourning. So if you feel like your thoughts and feelings and emotions are all over the place, then you are certainly not alone, and it's completely expected and normal. So please, I hope you're being gentle with yourselves and each other, and, allowing yourself to just feel what you feel. I feel like I need to start out with that because I know that these messages for me are about really trying to give hope and helping people to see, something that sometimes may come across as being un, uh, only positive, and so I don't want anyone to feel like I am negating any of what it is that people are feeling, because I'm feeling it too. I had a breakdown in the co-op the other day because, I was told that I couldn't put anything in my backpack, which I had worn to walk up there and needed for carrying my stuff back. And, it wasn't that it was attacking, but I instantly just lost it. And fortunately, that's a place where I know people well and am well loved and cared for. And so I was able to just say, I'm sorry, I'm having a really rough day. And I gave myself permission to cry all the way home. And then I got home and I participated in my writers group and I felt better. So, there are these moments that come, and they're going to continue to come. And we all just have to go with the flow and give ourselves permission to continue to do that. So another thing that's going on right now is none of us really know what's going on, and everything's shifting and changing so quickly that something that seemed right yesterday might not seem right today, and then something that seems right today might not seem right tomorrow. So one of the things, as you know, I've started doing these videos since all of this started, as opposed to my written messages, which I've been doing on my Ask Miss Amie Facebook page for about 2 years now, over 2 years now, I think I've been doing them. And so I expanded into this video format. And what I'm discovering is with this video format that I'm much better off to do one video and to include it all, as opposed to how I was doing the format before, which was to invite people to choose the cards and leave that up for the weekend, and then I would put up the reveal at the end of the weekend. So I decided that I was going to change that up, instead do one video and see how that works out. What I also discerned as I was meditating on connecting in with my guides and my guidance and my intuition was that this week at least, and I don't know if this will continue moving forward, but this week I'm also, rather than giving 3 messages and a choice, I am going to give an overall message for the energies this week, and see where that leaves us. So I hope you like this new format, and I, as always, invite feedback of all sorts. Please do let me know what you think. And without further ado, I'm going to start looking at our cards for this week. So our first underlier we have is awareness, which is also called the Magician in the traditional tarot deck. And this energy, this card came up for us. I think it came up last week, or I know it's come up in the last couple of weeks since I started doing these videos. So again, this is reminding us that we have all of the tools that we need to succeed and to move forward and to manifest whatever it is that we put our mind to. That it's going to take work and devotion, but we have those tools available to us. And we also have the divine sort of energy available to us to call upon in order to learn about those tools, to tap into those tools, to figure out how to use them and see where we want to go moving forward. Now, our other underlier this week, I decided to use 2 decks this week. So, and FYI, I will include at the end all the information in the description below. I will include the information on all of the decks that I use in this reading today. Okay, and going forward. So our other underlier is the Fool. And the Fool literally is about taking that first step, moving forward, not really knowing where things are going, but trusting that you are following your divine inspiration, following the signs and the symbols. You see all those signs up there above his head? Yeah, those are, those are guidance from above. And the energies, the planet behind him, I'm not sure what planet that is. I can't tell, sorry. There's not usually a planet on the Fool card, but this one happens to have one. Anyways, that's, that kind of energetic guidance that's coming to us. I also want to mention that today is, as I'm recording this, it's the 4th of April, so it's 4/4, and 2020 is a 4 universal year. So those of us who do a lot of energy work and light work, we talk about what are called energetic portal days, and they often align with astrology and numerology and the calendar and all kinds of stuff that you can certainly look more into if you'd like. And so today is a pretty big one. And 4s are really about, foundation, creating foundation, and that kind of thing. So the other thing that I decided, like as I was choosing the cards and all of that, I felt compelled to include. Every year I do, at the beginning of every year for as long as I can remember, since I've been using the tarot, which has been since I was like 18 years old or something, I do, at the beginning of year, I do a spread for the whole year, and I often will refer back to that. Well, this year's reading had these 2 cards here, were 2 that I chose. And if you look at this one, this is after the storm, okay? And you see that's 1. This is also the 1 energy here, okay? And this is, this card is really, and this is sort of the underlying energy for this whole year, not just right now. I'm now becoming clear on what these 2 cards really mean after, having them on my altar and looking at them for the last few months of the year. It's becoming clear to me what these mean. This says every journey starts with a single step. If you look up the interpretation for the tarot, in a lot of, if people are tending to, for the Fool, if people are encapsulating it into one phrase, that's the phrase that they will most often say. So this is about taking that step. And this is about trusting that, this storm that's happening after the storm, okay, we're in the storm right now. When I pulled this card at the beginning of the year, I didn't recognize exactly what it was going to mean or entail, but it's becoming clear to me. And that's, that's how these, working with the divine and working with oracle tools, or your intuition, all of that stuff, it's not always completely clear when you first get the insight that you get, or you get the information. But as you allow yourself to move through time and recall what it is that that divine guidance that you've been given, then it often becomes more and more clear. So I'm going to see if I can put these cards right here. And one other thing that I wanted to mention also, one other card. This was I used a whole bunch of different decks that I have to do this this 2020 reading at the beginning of the year. And this card is Higher Learning, Melchizedek. And Melchizedek is mentioned in the book of Genesis in the Bible. He was a priest who his mission at this point is to help to connect humanity to their divine, inspirational, higher learning. So it says right here, you have learned from experience. More inner study is now required to further progress. And this also correlates here with the magician, again, who has that energy, and you can see both of these here. We have this energy, and back here behind Melchizedek, this is the flower of life. And Melchizedek also brings in a lot of energy of symbolism. So if that's something that you're drawn to, it would be a great time for you to think about possibly looking into sacred geometry. A lot of people are interested in studying that, or numerology, astrology, whatever, you're drawn to. It's a really good time right now for us to be learning about that. And the reason being that we're not only going to be learning about that from our current experience, but we are drawing on soul information that's coming through from all the different timelines and lifetimes that we've gone through as a bigger soul. Okay. And more we are being availed that kind of energy as the earth shifts in frequency and raises her frequency, and we move through the cosmos into particular areas in the universe that align with planetary energies that have certain things to show us and teach us. Then we are being shown more and more these kind of symbols, and have more and more of that available to us. And the more we invite that in, then the more it comes to us. And, who can't use a little guidance from the divine, This guy's pretty cool. He's been up on my altar, and, I've been connecting with him a lot over the course of this year so far. And I feel like I've been guided very well. So if that's something that resonates, then by all means, go for it. I do want to also mention this other card that I had chosen at the beginning of the year, and it's remembrance. And it says on here, the frequency of remembrance supports our memory of everything that we have gone through as a soul in a body, providing us with valuable information and tools to flow gracefully within this life. And that speaks to what I was just talking about, and this whole thing of, these tools are available to us more so than ever. The veils are very thin. They're getting thinner every day. That's not going to change anytime soon. We are in the age of Aquarius, and this is a whole new playing field that we're on. And things are available to us that have never been available to us in any lifetime on this planet that any of us could possibly remember. So, it's out there for you. If you want to take advantage of it, then it's there. All right. One other thing I want to mention before I go into the three cards that the cards that I specifically pulled again for our more of our message. I guess I'm already doing the message, right? So when I was getting everything together, I pulled out 3 cards because there's something in a book that I want to read to you at the end if I have time. And I was pulling out cards to mark a couple of places. And the 3 cards that I ended up pulling out, first off, were this one, Rest and Rejuvenate, which we had last week. Temptation, or the Devil, which we also had last week. Sorry for the glare, guys. I can't quite figure out this lighting thing with what I have, but I'm making do. And then this card here, Movement, Choices, and Decisions, which was our underlier, I believe it was 2 weeks ago on March 23rd. So I feel like, you know, these are confirmations of those messages. There's something in there that, you know, if you're looking for some answers and any of those relate to you, feel free to go back and check out those messages. Okay. Felt compelled to just mention that because, like I said, when I saw it, I was like, wait, all these cards look familiar. Didn't we just have these? And you know, again, that's how the tarot works. It really will make sure that it keeps giving you the message that you need to hear. And that's why I love using the tarot for my own guidance and my own sort of learning process. It's been a very invaluable tool to me for many, many years. All right, so let's see what we have here for our cards this week for the 3. As I said, I'm not doing the 3 choices. Oops, just the 1 choice. Actually, that's supposed to be in the middle. I don't know how that ended up happening. There we go. That one goes there. That one goes there. And then we've got this one here. All right. So our first card here is full. I'm just going to show you these up close so you can see them a little better to start with. Fulfillment of Wishes, otherwise known as the 9 of Cups. This is the wish card. This is probably the most favorable card in the whole deck, followed by Intuition, also known as the High Priestess. And this ties right in with everything that I'm saying about, you know, tapping into this kind of energy of, you know, not only the divine guidance that is out there for us and the different guides and guardians and energies that we can work with, but our own internal power and energy is expressed very strongly here in this card. This is about, you know, trusting in that divine inspiration, bringing it to a place where we're now ready to, you know, use that to guide us in the world. And then in front of us, and the third card we have here is Suffering in Silence, which is the 9 of Swords. And I feel like we might have had that card recently too. So what I'm seeing here with these 3 cards together is, you know, we are in this place of, you know, also, you know, the High Priestess is never afraid to go inward. She's never afraid to sequester herself and take that time to go on an inward journey and do the work that she needs to do in order to tap into her wise mind self, into, you know, the High Priestess embodies the 3 different aspects of the maiden, the mother, and the crone. And that's the female aspect of, you know, of our experience, and all of us have a female and a male aspect. So, you know, this pertains to all of us, whether we are a man or a woman. And the High Priestess's energy of the maiden, the mother, and the crone is about, you know, the new, the sort of young energy of creation, and then moving into actually creating that, you know, energy, what a mother does. And then the crone is using all the wisdom that you've experienced through that in order to draw upon those different aspects of yourself at the appropriate time. And we all have all of those energies within us to draw on at any time. So what I see very strongly here is that this is about, this time of being inside. She's behind the door here, which I find interesting. And her view of, to see the world, she has to look into this thing here to see what's out there. But notice she's also got her eyes closed, So it's that within without thing. It's like going within that I keep speaking of here, and discerning, okay? So discerning what it is that you are going to focus yourself upon. Suffering in silence is about, being able to witness what's going on outside in the outer world without necessarily letting it inside. You're not giving voice to it. This is saying, let's not keep talking about everything that's going wrong. Let's not keep focusing on what we don't want. Let's focus on what we do want. Let's take that power that we're being offered, all of this divine, amazing energy that's coming through right now. I cannot emphasize to you enough the opportunity for each and every one of us right now to really get to the bottom of what it is we want after the dust settles, because nothing's going to be the same. It's going to be very, well, not nothing. There are obviously things that will be the same or similar, but on an energetic level, nothing will be the same. Our psyches will not be the same after this. This is an unprecedented event the whole entire world is taking part in, and we are all being forced to pause from that outward manifestation, to go within, to listen to that, to draw on these amazing gifts that each and every one of us has, and to discern what it is we want to take moving forward. If you notice this, he's got that's a Merkaba, and that is, that's a piece, that's a sacred geometrical symbol. And that's about the vehicle that enables us to move into higher realms, that can take us to other dimensions if we so choose to utilize it. So, so all of this is really wonderful, really, even though it feels like there might be some suffering going on, really, if you can just allow yourself to honor the times when you feel that sadness to come up, to recognize that it's valid to feel grief and loss and sadness and worry right now, but to not let that take camp in the bottom of who you are and what you're focusing your energy on all the time. Find ways to pause, to honor what you're feeling, and then back off from it and say, okay, what's happening right now? What is it that I can focus on right now that's going to be moving me closer to this place that I want to be when we move forward, when the storm's over and we can finally take those steps. I have 3 more cards here for clarifiers, and look at this. Sure enough, we have once again the Magician. Okay, so here's this guy. He even looks like the Melchizedek in this one, which is kind of neat, right? So this is, to me, just confirming what I'm saying. I don't really need to address that card any further because I feel like I've addressed it, other than to say, look, he's got the tools. They're right there. That's the universe. And he is like putting those tools out in the universe saying, okay, I am focusing on what it is that I want to manifest. And what do I want to manifest? I want to manifest fulfillment of wishes. Another thing is that a lot of us might be afraid. This suffering in silence can go to a lot of us might be afraid to admit that we feel good about a lot of the changes. A lot of us might be afraid to say, oh my God, it feels really good to be able to have this breather, to be able to stop thinking about what I have to do, be, consume, buy, get, have, all of that, and to really just, So by finding those ways that we know how to do that, then that is how we will continue to grow. I need to hurry up because I'm at 23 minutes, and as we found out last week, this cuts off at 26. So let's see what else we got here. We have the Lover's card, and that is about, divine spiritual union of the higher aspects of ourselves and the lower aspects of ourselves. This can also be about, for some people, it can be about our love relationships and our relationships with others. And so I'm not really going to get into into that right now because I don't feel like that's the message here. But really the predominant message here is about bringing that energy, bringing that light down, and, you know, and being strong with it, and, you know, not losing sight of what it is. I don't know what I was going to say with that, but all right. So let's look at this last card here, which is the Eight of Pentacles. Now, last week, I know we had the Seven of Pentacles, and this is the key to it all, okay? We are being invited at this time to stop any of this old energy of take, what is mine, what can I do, what can I get? And we're moving into the energy of giving and receiving. Now, can you understand the difference there? As opposed to taking, getting what we want. As we give, then we receive. So when we move into that kind of energy where we are able to, have that sort of reciprocity, you know, it creates this divine flow of abundance, of life, of everything. And the key to that is to, you know, connect the mind and the heart, not act so much from the mind, from the ego, from the old ways of being, but really to drop down in our heart and to discern what it is that we want from here. All right, folks, I am almost at 26 minutes, so I hope all of that helped. Again, I will put the comments down, the info down below for the books, if you have the cards. If you have any thoughts, comments, questions, please do feel free to contact me. And I love you all. Please take care. All right. Bye-bye.